The Bible is a complex text written over centuries. Many people turn to it for guidance on moral and ethical issues. One such issue is homosexuality, which the Bible addresses in a few key passages. These passages have been interpreted in various ways, leading to diverse viewpoints within Christianity. Understanding these viewpoints requires careful examination of the text and its historical context. The Bible's teachings on homosexuality are not always clear-cut. Some passages seem to condemn same-sex relationships, while others are open to different interpretations. It's important to approach these passages with humility and a willingness to consider different perspectives. This essay will explore some of the key passages and interpretations related to the Bible and homosexuality. Leviticus 18:22 is often cited as a prohibition against homosexuality. It states, "You shall not lie with a male as with a woman, it is an abomination." This verse appears within a larger set of laws given to the Israelites, known as the Holiness Code. Traditional interpretations view this verse as a clear condemnation of all same-sex sexual activity. However, some scholars argue that this verse should be understood within its specific historical and cultural context. They point out that the surrounding verses prohibit incest, adultery, and bestiality. These prohibitions, they argue, were given to maintain social order and purity within a specific cultural context. They suggest that Leviticus 18:22 might be addressing a specific form of same-sex activity, such as temple prostitution or pederasty, rather than all loving, consensual same-sex relationships. Another passage often cited in discussions about the Bible and homosexuality is Romans 1:26-27. This passage describes same-sex activity as unnatural and shameful. It is often interpreted as a condemnation of all same-sex relationships. However, some scholars suggest that this passage should be read within the context of Paul's argument in the book of Romans. They argue that Paul is specifically addressing those who have turned away from God and embraced idolatry. In this context, they suggest, Paul's condemnation is directed at the excesses and immorality of Roman society, rather than at loving, committed same-sex relationships. They also point out that the concept of sexual orientation, as we understand it today, was not present in the ancient world. Historical and cultural context, ancient Israel and today. Understanding the historical and cultural context of the Bible is crucial for interpreting its teachings. Ancient Israel existed in a vastly different cultural context than our own. Their social structures, customs, and understanding of the world were different from ours. Therefore, directly applying their laws and customs to our modern context can be problematic. For example, the concept of marriage in ancient Israel was very different from our modern understanding. It was often seen as a primarily economic and social arrangement, rather than a relationship based on love and companionship. Additionally, the understanding of sexuality and gender identity in the ancient world was different from ours. Therefore, it's important to approach these passages with sensitivity to their historical and cultural context. Translation and nuance, the weight of words. The Bible was originally written in Hebrew and Greek. Translating these ancient languages into modern English can be challenging. Words and phrases can have different meanings depending on the context, and nuances can be lost in translation. This is particularly important when discussing sensitive topics like sexuality. For example, the word homosexuality is a relatively modern term. It didn't exist in the ancient world. Therefore, when we see words like abomination or unnatural used in the Bible, it's important to consider what those words meant in their original context. They might not carry the same weight or connotations that they do in modern English. Conclusion. Seeking understanding and respect. The Bible's teachings on homosexuality are complex and open to interpretation. There is no single universally accepted viewpoint within Christianity. It's important to approach these discussions with humility, respect, and a willingness to engage with different perspectives. Understanding the historical and cultural context of the Bible, as well as the nuances of translation, is crucial for interpreting these passages. Ultimately, each individual must grapple with these questions and come to their own informed conclusions. It's important to do so with a spirit of love, compassion, and a commitment to seeking truth. By engaging in respectful dialogue and seeking to understand different viewpoints, we can foster greater understanding and respect within our communities.